Yes, indeed, folks. You're tuned into Badge Please. You're on WoW Radio with myself, Top Biscuit. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, sorry, I just got another 9 Emblems of Conquest from Breathing. I actually unlocked 15 achievements that way as well. That's quite surprising. You know, I thought unlocking those achievements might be a little bit harder, but no, evidently I'm just that damn good. Oh, another 5 emblems. Awesome. That's great. You know, I can build a tower out of ruined orbs. Better yet, I'll make a ski slope out of the damn things and go ride down it while screaming, "Free Epic!" It'll be awesome. Reason 9. Why your change is absolutely freaking terrible. And those who don't know, I should probably preface this. You're probably a little bit shell-shocked after the first 50 minutes. Here's what's happening, right? In patch 3.2, which unfortunately also contains a bunch of really awesome changes, but they had to ruin it with one thing, didn't they? Oh yeah. In patch 3.2, every instance, and I do mean every instance except for the new Colosseum instance, is going to drop Emblems of Conquest. Yeah? That means every 5-man heroic, Nax 10, Nax 25, Sartharian, Malagos, VOA of all bloody places. Everything. Not only that, but the daily quests, the dungeon dailies, which consist of a normal 5-man and a heroic 5-man, are going to drop Emblems of Triumph for tier 9. Yes, you can run normal Utgard Keep and get some tier 9. How awesome is that? So yes, number 9 on the reasons why this is absolutely terrible is this. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, wants the damn Karazhan badge farming back. It was awful. Now we get to have the Naxxramas badge farm. As if anyone really wanted to go back in there. Why would you do that? Right? You accepted yourselves, and this was something that they admitted, that the Karazhan badge farm was awful. Yeah? Karazhan got really old after the first, maybe 10 go-throughs. I certainly don't want to go through another 50 times, that's for sure. Which ties nicely, very, very nicely indeed, into reason 13 on my list of why this is terrible, which is, quite frankly, this. Encourages those who want to fill in gaps in their gear to do boring as sin content in order to get it. Guilds may even require people to do so. Raiders want to raid current raid content, not farm Nax or run heroics, both of which are really dull. But you know what? They're gonna have to do it anyway, to fill in those gaps, just from the ridiculous RNG freaking drop system. Let's fill in the gaps by going back to the instance that we were so glad to escape 6 months ago. Not even 6, more like 2 months ago. It's okay, we get to go back to Naxxramas. Naxxramas 2, Electric Frickin' Boogaloo. Oh, I want to dance my way down a bottomless pit. At the mere thought of having to do that. Good lord, I hope that you guys have got all the gear you need, because if you don't, it's back to Nax with ya. Oh, kill me now. Reason 10. Why this is a terrible freaking change. It will cause the value of ruined orbs to crash, giving easy access to best-in-slot craftable gear to people who run Utgard freaking Keep. Yes, some of the best-in-slot gear available is the drop recipes from, you guessed it, Ulduar. And what do they use as their primary resource? Oh yes, that would be ruined orbs. At the current prices, getting a piece of that really awesome gear made will cost you an absolute bloody fortune. But of course, if everyone has Emblems of Conquest, what does that mean? Yes, everyone gets to buy ruined orbs by running heroics. What does that mean? Hey, I can get the best-in-slot mage belt. Or the best-in-slot, I believe, mage, either gloves or boots, whichever. Craftable stuff with ruined orbs for basically nothing. Yeah, that's great. So any possibility that this would cause, oh, it's just a couple of extra pieces of gear? No, actually it's not. There's a whole bunch of ways to get really awesome gear by doing absolutely nothing thanks to this change. Reason 11. Why this is terrible. It encourages bad habits and the new generation of slackers. It says to people, don't worry guys, if you suck, just wait a few months and you'll get free gear for 0 effort and get to face roll the content. Because these are the guys, and this is what you have to understand, these are the guys that don't want a challenge because they're too freaking pussified to do it. Let me give you an example. Yeah, today I managed to get myself banned from the WoW EU forums. You know what I said? Yeah, this is amusing. I am absolutely laughing my ass off at this particular thing, because I have said so many worse things than this. Blizzard, yeah, I know you listen. If you're gonna ban me for a better reason. I mean, come on. A 3-week ban for saying if you sucked less, you could have done that anyway. Who realistically hadn't got Nax on farm by the time Ulduar came out? Jesus. That's the best you can come up with for my posting history? I am offended. I mean, for God's sake, you can look on the first freaking page of stuff that I posted and find something even more incriminating. And you chose that? Really? Like, Blizzard themselves are becoming scrubs. They don't want to challenge. They're certainly not putting in the effort in banning me for 3 weeks, because they can't find a good enough reason. Ugh. I'm insulted. Seriously, you gotta try better than that. And the point that I was making is entirely valid. If you don't suck, you can overcome the challenges that WoW puts in front of you. The average guild can do it. The average player can do it. There's only one kind of player that can't. Thanks to all of the stuff that's been changed. In order to get rid of all of the attunements, let's make sure that anyone can go in at any time. Let's support the casuals as much as we can, and that's fine. Support casual players with limited available playtime. That's cool. There's only one group of players that couldn't do it. You want to know who they were? Yes, the bad ones. The bad players can't do it. You want to know why they can't do it? Because they're unwilling to man up and take on the challenges put in front of them. What they want to do is cry. They want to keep crying and crying and crying. They will keep crying, and soon they will form a pool. And then they will form a lake. And then they will form an ocean of tears. And what will that ocean of tears do? It will raise them upwards, and carry them over the wall of challenge in their own salty mess. That's what it will do. Does anyone want to live in a game? Anyone want to play a game that does this? That is actually built with this idea in mind? I know I don't. That's why I cancelled my sub. It's as simple as that. If you're cancelling your sub for this reason, I would suggest that you let them know. There's a nice little feedback thing. And I typed it in there. And it said, why are you leaving the game? Answer, the badge changes. The trivializing of content, rating, and epics for the purposes of appeasing the group of players that are too terrible to take on already nerfed content as it is. Now here's the thing. This is not, by any stretch of the imagination, as even close to as justified as what they did in TBC. Which brings me nicely on, and bearing in mind this is of course not in order, to reason 15 of my reasons why this is a terrible change. The whole point of the tiered badge system was to ensure that we didn't get a repeat of what happened with TBC and the tier 6 level gear from running Karazhan. Appropriate rewards for appropriate content. This is what you said. You, Blizzard, yes, you. No, not the guy over there, it was you. You said it. Multiple times, in fact. Oops, I guess we conveniently forgot about that one in the quest to appease terrible players. Oh, how freaking wonderful. Ugh. You see, you can sort of see what happened with the TBC badge changes, and you can sort of see the justification for it. By the time this stuff came in, by the time all of these changes came in, and the big nerf happened, the content was basically done. It was the last instance. The last instance had been out for quite a while, and we were gearing up for Wrath, which means, hey, throw all caution in the wind. I can accept that. I still think it was a bit of a BS change, and I certainly think they should have reverted it after the expansion came out, so the classic guilds could go back and do the content at the appropriate difficulty level, but I can understand why. This doesn't even make sense. We're halfway through Wrath, and you're nerfing everything. Why? You're giving people all this great gear so they can roll over the content? Why? We're not even half done yet. What's the point? Are you going to do it when Ice Crown comes out as well? Because everyone's got to go see Ice Crown. Everyone's going to be able to go and defeat Arthas because everybody wants to. Yeah, well, you know what? If wishes were horses, I'd be riding the frickin' moon. And you know what? I ain't riding to the frickin' moon. In fact, I see no horses here. Doesn't help. You want to know why I see no horses? Because 111 isn't good enough for anyone over the age of 4 years old. It isn't. Blizzard are not the parents, at least they shouldn't be the parents, who cave in to their Children screaming, whiny tantrums when they want a lollipop from the damn store. Because they just keep going on. I want. It's okay, guys. We'll shut them up by giving them that lollipop. You know what will happen? They'll grow up to be idiots. Which is exactly what is happening to the player base right now. New raiders. This is the experience they're getting. This is what they're learning to raid on? Good lord. I would not want to put them into TBC content. They'd freak out. They wouldn't know what they were doing. Oh, good lord. The first instance is actually semi-challenging. What do we do, guys? I don't know. Let's just go get some gear from badges. Then we can face one. Oh, I'm still dying. What's happening? Ugh. I wouldn't want to see that. That would be messy. Ugh. Terrible. Put them into AQ40. See what happens then. Panic. Sheer total freaking panic. A generation of wonderful slackers. Why? Why take away the separation? I can't figure it out. You put the separation in there, and you specified the reasons why it was there, and you know what? We were all pretty happy with that. We could also accept the fact that, oh, we've got slightly more difficult content now, so if you want Valor Gear, and say you're a 10-man raiding guild, yeah, perfectly viable playstyle, 10-man raiding guild, then you can get it by going to Ulduar 10, yeah? We accept that. Since we are a smaller form raiding guild and you're doing slightly less difficult content, you shouldn't get as good gear. It's funny that they seem to realise that. In fact, they realised that all the way up to Ulduar, with the hard modes and everything. Do something harder, get better gear. Do something easier, don't get quite as good gear. So why is that principle just been thrown out the window? Can't figure it out. Reason 12, why this is a terrible idea. Not only are you getting wondrous tier 8.5 quality epics. Oh, you're getting more than that, because you can run normal 5-mans for tier 9 equivalent epics. Just announcing it from the get-go right there. A wonderful new tier. You know, this is just to counter the badgers who said, oh, it's okay because we're just giving them stuff that's a tier behind the new stuff. So you get the new stuff and everything. Oh, but wait, it's not, is it? Because you're giving away badges of triumph from dailies. Dungeon dailies, of all things. Are you nuts? Dungeon dailies? They take like 15 minutes. They don't even require you to do anything. You just have to stand there in AoE. We've already complained about the difficulty level of the dungeons as it is. You gotta reward people with tier 9 quality gear for running normal 5-mans? You know, screw it. I'm gonna go complete a bunch of quests in the Barrens. Can I have a full set of tier 8.5, please? Why not? I mean, I'm taking my time, aren't I? It's not like it's difficult content, but I'm spending time, therefore I should be rewarded because I'm a player. I am a subscriber. Give it. And that's not even to mention reason 14 of my big bumper list of why this is terrible. And this is for PvPers who think this change doesn't apply to them. You know what else it rewards? A nice big set of great PvP gear to people who didn't do PvP. That was already bad enough with VOA, but it's okay because you can now buy an entire set by running heroics. And not just a basic set, a really good set of PvP gear that nobody earned. Because that's all they're gonna do. They're gonna run some heroics or farm some Nexramus. Face roll your way through it. What's the conclusion? The conclusion is that this is absolutely terrible. And here's what you gotta understand. There are some things that you cannot quantify with mere numbers. And badgers will try and argue to you and say that this change is okay. Because all the reasons you're bringing up are non-tangible. Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. World of Warcraft is a social game. That means that every change that comes into this game has a degree of social engineering involved in it. If you make changes like this, you engineer your player base to be worse. Yeah? And people's feelings and how people feel about the content and how people feel about their own achievements and what they're doing in the game directly affects how happy they are. And you know what that affects? Subscription numbers. Because if people aren't happy, they don't play the game. There are no doubt a core of people who simply cannot leave this game because they are so freaking pathetic that they can't be bothered to come out of their little shell and discover what the wonderful world of gaming has to offer. But those are the minority. If people feel like everything they've done is being turned to trash because Blizzard wants to appeal to really terrible players, then you know what's going to happen? They're going to find a game that doesn't do that. And there are plenty out there. So for the love of God, Blizz, the rest of your patch looks awesome. I'm going to talk about it. It looks great. So why ruin it with such a stupid, unjustifiable change? If you want people to raid, then teach them how. You give them the tutorials, you give them the tools to learn on their own, and if they still can't do it, then to hell with them. It's as simple as that. To hell with the bads. You're listening to Blue Please, or should I say Badge Please, on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. We'll be right back after the break, and I will be announcing one of the BlizzCon ticket winners in the WoW Radio contest. Enjoy.